Good evening, everyone. Welcome to this evening broadcast by Mazes. Okay, I'm going to go straight to the point. Today, I will be addressing Senator Rabiu Kwankwaso, and that's my response. My response to Senator Rabiu Kwankwaso, his comment citing insecurity as a reason not to vote anyone from the Southeast in the upcoming 2023 election. Yesterday, I did watch Senator Alhaji Rabiu Kwankwaso during his conversation with Seun Okimbaloye at the channel's television Politics Today. I was alarmed, dismayed, and I thought to myself, that is not right. He deserved a response. For the records, Rabiu Kwankwaso is the presidential candidate of the New Nigerian People's Party, the NNPP. For this conversation, to give you background, and I will respond in sequence. I will play a video of that conversation and I will highlight the areas that he talked about that I want to speak to us. I believe that Senator Rabiu Kwankwaso displayed a very high level of lack of understanding of the Nigerian current political situation. Sadly, I believe that his aspiration is based on ethnic sentiment as opposed to what Nigerians are yearning at the current situation. And I believe that what he is bringing to the table is not what he's projecting. Again, by the coming on television to discuss a matter that was ongoing for me tells much about the man in question. Without further ado, let me quickly bring in the clip in question here before I then give Rabiu Kwankwaso my response.
Not at national level. I contested in 2015.
No, I'm saying the NNPP. You're talking about the NNPP, and I'm saying
Yes.
recently that your party seems to have been having some inroads.
Oh, yes,
and it's perhaps what Alhaji Buba Galadima was talking
yes,
about,
it's
the
not only
ability
Buba Galadima, even you.
for you to set up a structure.
Yes.
But the question is, are you optimistic about the alliance with Mr. Peter Obi? Do you think it will happen?
Yeah, well, I believe that it will happen, but I believe also that there are some challenges that we are having, especially from the side of the Labour Party itself, because there are so many influences, some on their side positive and even the negative side. We have a situation today where there are some people who are in other parties who are always also influencing the decision of that party, which I believe is not good for the party. I'm just reading.
Now, at this point, I'm uninterested in the party politics playing out between Labour and NNPP. What he's alluding here is that there is someone, and in this case, in that person, from his allusion, you can only conclude, he said, a former party leader. And the only party leader that comes to mind at this point is former President Olusegun Obasanjo. But again, I leave that conversation to the politicians. This is what I think would interest you.
And who becomes the vice president. And I believe this is the time really to advise, especially those who are positively behind the candidate of the Labour Party, that this, for me, I have seen an opportunity for the Southeast to be relevant in the next dispensation. In NNP, in PDP, they are completely out. So also in the APC. The only opportunity now is the NNPP. Now, we are aware that in the social media, a lot of work is going on. The young men and women, especially of the Southeast extraction, are working towards getting a presidency. But the fact remains on the ground that even the entire zone, any zone in this country, decides to vote for a particular person, that person, going by our constitution, the provision in the constitution, cannot be president.
Now, Let me address Rabiu Kwankwaso at this point. He alluded to the fact that no zone in Nigeria would ever make someone president. I agree. President Muhammad Buhari in 2003, 2006, 2003, 2007, 2011 contested on ethnic basis where he had, quote unquote, over 12 million votes, yet he did not become the president until he reached out an alliance with the South, in this case with the Southwest, led by Bola Ahmed Tinubu and Alhaji Bisi Akonde, that made him become the president. That is the statement of fact. However, if you listen to him, the way he's talking, you would then agree with me that Rabiu Musa Kwankwaso appears to be not in touch with the current realities. The Southeast is not the one clamoring for the presidency, or as the negotiation that he's undergoing with former governor of Anambra State, Peter Obi. Again, disclaimer here. Whatever I'm going to say here, I take 100% full responsibility as Mazi Tochukwu Ezoke. It has nothing to do with Njenje Media TV. It has nothing to do with Peter Obi. I take full responsibility. Every single thought, every single speech, every single statement, 100% is mine. Now, let me come back to what Rabiu Musa Kwankwaso said. A statement of fact. No region, no single region can make anyone president. That's a statement of fact. But the illusion that the Southeast are the only ones pushing for a P2B president is best known or classified as delusional. Maybe he should come back to Twitter. Maybe he should go to the streets of Kano, go to the streets of Kaduna and see what the youths are doing for themselves, demanding that they want something new. They want to walk away from the old order. I'll let him talk more, then I respond to him.
And I think the Constitution was deliberate to ensure that everybody is involved in the country. And I believe that it is in the interest of the Labour Party and the NNPP, and even in the interest of this country, because we have seen a situation today where many people in the Southeast believe that they are being marginalized. And it will even be worse, actually, if they are not involved in the 2023 project, because LP, as it stands today, certainly it cannot win election.
Really?
Oh yes, it cannot win election.
It cannot win a presidential election.
Not
Why
in
do you think they cannot?
Well,
now, it's not been long that Rabiu Musa Kwankwaso joined the NNPP. It's not long that Mr. Peter Obi joined the Labour Party. To then say that Labour Party that's been making round cannot win an election, I say these are a bunch of people, they say that they do not have structures, that they are structureless. They will meet at the field.
Because mainly the support is mainly in particular zone. There is just no spread. And the figures there cannot earn anybody presidential seat in this country.
But they're saying that they have the workers, the labor behind them.
Well, maybe you don't know the history of the labor itself. We tried to be in the labor when we were sourcing for a particular party. After INEC told us clearly that it was not willing to register any party between 2019 and 2023. The party was actually factionalized. If the labor is there, of course, and the labor is the union, is all for all of us, especially the NNPP, because we are the people, we are the party that actually is sympathetic to workers in this country. I was a civil servant myself for 17 years in Kano. So ordinarily, if not because of what I'm doing now, I would have been a retired officer myself. This is the situation as it stands today.
Now, you are afraid of a fifth columnist within the Labour Party. Is it the major reason why you are not, why things have not come to fruition?
Well, I believe so, and I think the Labour Party and of course, all the supporters of the Labour Party, especially my good friends and brothers, people of the Southeast. I have a particular, in fact, many reasons why I personally, as Rabiu Kwankwaso, is sympathetic to the Southeast. And I think the relationship between the Labour Party and NNPP will cool down a lot of issues in the Southeast as it stands today, because that's the only way the Southeast can be relevant. We don't want a situation whereby a particular section of this country would feel that it's being marginalized. And already we have a lot of tension there. And this tension is not good for the Southeast. It's not good for the country. We have a situation today in this country where in that part of the country, Mondays, the whole zone is being shut. So many people are being killed. So many businesses are being wasted, and so on and so forth. And that is why I take this opportunity to say that the leaders at that level should think positively so that this marriage can work. They should avoid talking to the people. You know, in this part of the country, we have at least the person the people are talking about in the social media and so on and so forth, who pretends to be very close to Peter Obi himself, while everybody knows he has a political party. He is promoting the person in that political party in the PDP, yet pretending to say, look, we'll want president to come from the south, especially the southeast, while we had somebody from the south.
Who is this person you're talking about?
No, we don't want to have to go to that details now, but the details will certainly come very soon.
But Mr. Obi needs to be weary of.
I think he should be concerned because he himself believes that he's very close to him, and he is misleading him. He's misleading the Labour Party, and so on and so forth. So I mean, you see, the idea is if this marriage works, for example, with Obi as the president, the implication is his own candidate in the PDP will be the biggest beneficiary, because the North today, you see, the way we operate politically in this country is not very clear to many people. Fortunately, the Northern voters have always got their own opinion. And it is hardly influenced by any elite or anybody we can think of. For example, if you look at the issue of the case of Muhammadu Buhari, over the years, the northern voters decided that it was him. And even when the elites, most of the elites didn't like him, they still don't like him, but they made up their minds over the years that any time we had an election, he will have certain votes from the northern voters. And these northern voters, again, have made up their minds on what to do.
Right now?
Vote. Oh, yes. There is nothing, nobody, no
now,
elite.
Have they made up their mind? Who are they hoping to vote for?
The northern, certainly NNPP. Nobody can change it.
I mean, you say you do. How did you know this?
I'm just from going around the country, and we have our structures everywhere. And that's the situation. Now, you see, the game plan was to make sure that Southeast is not involved in this project. And the implication is that now is double-edged sword. If, for example, anybody, I'm not too particular about Peter, anybody from the Southeast, under this circumstance, will be very difficult, really, for voters, because they have made up their...
Now, what he's saying here, I see this as an insult to my brothers and sisters from the North. Rabiu Kwankwaso sits down here, says that anybody from the Southeast who is in the ballot will not be voted for. If we truly want to have a new Nigeria, I call on Mr. Peter Obi, for no reason and for no account should you consider any VP to anyone. Be on the ballot and let you be rejected.
Their minds.
I mean, so if you look in the way of someone like Kingsley Moghalu, for example, which people are talking about, I mean, Kingsley Moghalu, the former deputy governor of the state.
Yes.
Are you considering him too?
No, anybody. You see, we are open. We're still up to 15th of this month. You see whether Dr. Moghalu or my friend Peter Obi or any other person from the Southeast. Now, I believe that will be very happy. And even anybody from the south.
So you're hoping to pick a running mate from the southeast?
That's my choice.
Okay.
Things being equal, that's the choice of our party, because you see, we'll solve
Or
a lot of
maybe
problems.
they're even thinking that you might be the running mate to Peter Obi.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. That is what the enemy outside there is saying. The implication is that if you put somebody from the southeast, unfortunately, there are many issues in the southeast. You see, northern voter is the worst hit on this issue of maladministration in this country. But even under that circumstance, a northern voter also believes that he is better with one united Nigeria. And therefore, most of the things that are happening in the south, especially in the southeast, people are not comfortable with that.
Now, there is where I want to speak to Alhaji Senator Rabiu Kwankwaso. How on earth would you then say that the insecurity in the southeast will not make any northerner vote for anyone from the southeast? At the beginning, this is where a man like you turns logic upside down. You, in this interview, you just alluded to the fact that the northern voter is the worst hit. How come, if the northern voter is the worst hit, in the last 7 years, we have a president from the Northwest, yet the Northwest has not benefited anything from this government in terms of security? The economy of Nigeria, be it Northeast, Northwest, North Central, Southeast, Southwest, and South-South, is in rings. 8 years will pass, then you want to continue in that same trajectory. Isn't that akin to doing the same thing over and over and over again and wanting to have different results? I believe some people call that insanity. And how do you want to then continue in the same trajectory? Now, at this point, granted, there are security challenges in the Southeast. The Monday sit at home he alluded to, it's something I have spoken on this platform and I have condemned it, that I am, and many of us are not in support, because that is akin to you going to your kinsman meeting, having an argument with someone, go home, lock up your family, do not give them food on certain days, and bang your head on the wall. You're only hurting yourself. That is not the discussion of today. But again, let me quickly take the Alhaji under. Let me quickly take you through these facts. What I do here is to look at data and not emotions. If we look at the northern region, especially Northwest, where you came from, sir, then I can prove to you that your allusion is totally false. Because if you look at this data that I'm about to present to you, sir, if you have time, let me quickly expand this for your viewership. If we look at here, this is not me, this is static sense on the look at insecurity in the first 4 months of 2022. Reported number of people kidnapped by zones. Northwest, sir, Kwankwaso, this is where you come from. 837 people were kidnapped. Yet the Southeast that you accuse of having the largest number of insecurity has 70 of our citizens. Again, I make this to it hurts me personally to talk about my fellow humans in numbers, because no single Nigerian deserves to be kidnapped, be it North, West, East, and South. However, if we want to put it together as North and South, 1,632 people have been kidnapped within the last 4 months of this year. And in the whole of the South, you have 192. That is approximately 11% in the South, and about 88, 89% in the North. Now tell me, if we go by data, who among this region ought to produce the president, sir, North or South? This is data, and this is not emotion. Let me also take you back to another data that might be interesting to you, sir, because I know that you will at the same time allude to that. When you said this, I must also bring to your notice that many of the northern youth were not happy about the things you said. And many of the northern youths are not happy about the things you said. And some of them on Twitter took out their anger on you because they believe that the things you said are very, very detached from their pains and things that bother them in northern Nigeria. Yes, because we speak to them, because they are our friends, because we are in the streets, we understand and we share each other's pain. No Nigerian is more Nigerian than another Nigerian. Again, Ghazali Sadiq said this to you, and I read out. He says, "It sounds stupid to me when a northern politician says that the North plays better politics than other regions and even debase the Southeast by claiming they are at bottom level when it comes to politics. What has that politics got, what has the politics you know how to play done for northern Nigeria?" Again, as I said at the beginning, what have you done with the politics you've been playing time and time and time over and over again? These are northern youths. If it might interest you that if I go through his comment, you will see that so many northern youths are angry with you. Nigeria has the worst human development index and northern Nigeria has the worst insecurity crisis. Yet you claim you play better politics. It might also interest you that when you come to human development interest, the state of Anambra, where P2B come from, is at the top. I ask you, where is your state in Kano? And where is your state in that ranking? Or rather, where is your region in that ranking? Let's not make this about North and South. Can we come back and stay within the realm and plank of real politics? Rabiu Kwankwaso, Senator, I say to you, I refer and I say that I am personally...
And as long as you have somebody from there in any party, it will be very difficult for the northern voters to vote.
Again, this I consider an insult to the northern voter, to the teeming youth who have come together and say, we want a change of narrative. And at this point, it tells me one thing and it tells me one thing only. That my impression is that former Minister of Defense is gunning for an ethnic-inspired presidency rather than a new Nigerian patriot and advocate, which the P2B camp is hinged on. Every youth across Nigeria, north, south, west, east, are yearning that enough is enough. We have seen how dollar has gone from 158 to 614 within the last 6-7 years. Is that what you want to continue with? Where, again, if we want to stay on the realm of ethnicity that you introduced, I say, where is then equity? Imagine, for once, not many of us will know the gravity of what Rabiu Kwankwaso said. Imagine for 1 second, this interview was granted by P2B, and P2B opened his mouth to say that the Southeast or the Southern voter will not vote anybody from the North. I tell you, by now, riot might have started somewhere. By now, his head will be on the altar for someone to yank it off his body. By now, this conversation will no longer be the same. But here we are in Nigeria. Rabiu Kwankwaso has said something like this. And many of us pretend that we didn't listen and that we didn't understand what he said. Here is a man who is pushing to be the president of this nation, sitting down here telling you that it is already foreclosed, that certain regions will not vote you because what? That because there is crisis. Yet the same crisis, the data suggests that you have more crisis at home, even when you control the president. Then you tell me either the man is not saying the truth or something is not adding up. People, I want you all to be the judge. Let me basically bring him back again for the last lap of this conversation.
And that's the situation now. And those workers who are against, in the actual sense, working against LP, Southeast, and so on, what they believe is if you put anybody under this arrangement from that side of the country, the North voters will not vote.
Again, what I consider an insult to the people and the young, vibrant, intelligent, resourceful, people from the northern part of this country. An insult, and they are not taking it.
And
Sir.
who will they vote? Their own candidate in the southeast? I mean, in the north.
So can you or would you be a running mate to Peter Obi?
That's what I'm saying.
Would you like to be as a person, as personally?
Ordinarily, you see, I'm jobless now. I'm not doing any job.
So
to become a vice president,
you can't be a vice president.
But what I'm telling you is that if anybody from the south is now under this circumstance, becomes the presidential candidate of our party or any other party, the implication is that because of the activities and many other issues that are real on the ground, northern voters will certainly go for their northern candidate in another party.
So the thinking
is that it's not whether I like it or I don't like it. The fact remains that
the numbers,
everybody will lose. The number, he will lose, I will lose.
So if Peter Obi is coming to join you, it will be your running mate.
That's as long as you want to vote from the north, that's the situation, fortunately.
You see, at this point, I understand how angry many of you, southern youth will be. At this point, I will say, shield your sword. There is no need to insult. There is no need to get angry. But I think, this type of narrative is what spurs you into action. If you're still sitting on the fence after watching this, I say to you, if we are indeed one nation, then it is time for you to go get your PVC. Here is Rabiu Kwankwaso, a man who is gunning for the highest office in this country, telling you point blank to your face that unless you become a VP to him, irrespective of the fact that by next year, May 29th, the Northwest would have had 8 years of presidency. The man speaking to you is also from the Northwest. Again, for once, just think about it. Assuming Buhari is Mr. Peter Obi, after 8 years, imagine how silly and idiotic and how outrageous it will sound if Mazi sit down here to tell you, wow, after Peter Obi, let us vote for Ekweremadu, or let us vote for someone else from the Southeast. That would be an outrage. Then I ask, if that is an outrage, knowing that if Southeast has produced a president after 8 years, that Southeast should not produce another president, because Southeast is not the only region in Nigeria. Then if you are outraged by that thinking alone, then I would then ask you, why then are you not outraged in this thinking? Again, it is left for you and I to make this decision. The things oozing out of his mouth is indeed reprehensible, honestly, because this is not the right way to go. This is not the right thing to do. If you are projecting yourself as a national leader, as a leader in Nigeria, then I ask again, where is equity? Where is equity? Because what Rabiu Kwankwaso here is telling us is that as a result of those, our brothers and sisters in the Southeast who are agitating for equity and fairness, therefore, the Southeast must never and should never be considered for presidency. Then I ask, have we forgotten in 2013, 2014, that even Boko Haram once appointed the current President Muhammad Buhari as their spokesperson? Yet, in 2015, Nigerians voted for President Muhammad Buhari, who then accused the Northwest that Boko Haram is their making. And therefore, because if anything, insecurity that is in there, therefore they should not get it. Yes, we know Boko Haram started from the Northeast. But even the Northwest has overtaken. Even the president himself, the president, Muhammad Buhari, said it by his own self, saying that these are a people, they speak the same language, they have the same culture, yet they inflict unimaginable pains and commit unimaginable crimes against themselves, quote unquote, President Muhammad Buhari. Here, you have a people, of course, do not support the violence, do not support any form of crime. But if data is to go by, Mr. Rabiu Kwankwaso or Senator Rabiu Kwankwaso, if data is to go by, then your argument doesn't hold water. Before I leave us, let me also look at the poverty index in Nigeria. Now, in this case, not only northern Nigeria. If this data is anything to go by, let me quickly reshare this screen again, and I would show us this data, then I'll anchor and close on that. Poverty index in Nigeria. Now, or rather in northern Nigeria. Then you will see. Here, you can see on the 3rd of July, a lawyer said, like other northern politicians and elites, Kwankwaso political experience has over time translated into massive poverty, a dysfunctional society, terrorism, bloody herdsmen, farmer clashes, banditry. Northern Nigeria is in ruins, and the entire Nigeria is suffering for it. Yet, we haven't called for Buhari's impeachment. Yet, Nigerians haven't called for Buhari's head. Yet, these are men like Rabiu Kwankwaso who have been in power. Question that Mazi Zoka on this platform is asking: what has the Northwest benefited from the governance of the Northwest? Kaduna and Kano, a joke to you. And the two amongst the 3 cities you mentioned have any access to sea, port, and also development. Almost all the states in northern Nigeria are rich in agriculture, blah, blah, blah. That's an argument for another person. That would also, if you don't mind, bring us to the argument once postulated here by former Emir Sanusi Lamidi Sanusi. Now, listen to him.
And convert them to another religion. And they will do that by the hundreds and the thousands. So what we see on the street is a product of bad economic policies and wrong priorities. These children are not criminals, they are victims. What part of Islamic law, what verse in the Quran, what hadith of the Prophet allows a father to give birth to a child and leave the child to go and fend for himself?
Now, if, again, we together as a people...
And convert them to another religion.
Sorry, if we come together as a people and we look
and
at
they
this,
will do that,
and we talk to ourselves respectfully, it is very easy and it's very clear to see that on this time, on this case, Senator Rabiu Kwankwaso has got it totally wrong. Kwankwaso's continued association with Peter Ob's candidacy will be a liability rather than an asset to his, based on his utterances, and those of his aides, key supporters, have continued to raise eyebrow among patriotic Nigerians. On that note, I say, I found the postulation, the position taken by Rabiu Musa Kwankwaso as not
Exactly today.
Is this the reason why you said Peter Obi cannot win without you?
No, I didn't say that. What I'm saying is that any zone, no zone, even the Northwest, where I come from, which has got the biggest number of voters in this country, and they are very much willing to come out en masse, more than ever before in this country because of the realities on the ground. Before 2015 election, there was close to nothing in terms of banditry, people who are being killed, houses and properties being destroyed. It was not there. But in the last 7-8 years, we had all these issues on the ground. So certainly you will have so many people, many millions of votes are coming out of the Northwest and even in the North, because people are concerned. It's not only a particular section that is concerned, because people are worried. People are angry with the situation on the ground, and therefore people are willing to come and vote. We have seen a situation where we have a lot of mobilization from a particular zone or zones of this country. And as that action is taking place, there are also a reaction from all parts of this country, especially from the North. People, the young men and women are registering themselves even in the North, and I'm sure they will continue to do that. especially with the increase in terms of number, in terms of days that were given by INEC. So you see, people will come out and vote, and they will come and defend their vote. And we are happy the president has signed the electoral law, which will make it a little bit more difficult for people to go and rig an election the way they did in the past.
So, I'm very sure that you are quite familiar with what is happening online. There is a popular saying now that obedience is better than sacrifice. Have you heard that?
Well,
and those are the campaigners for Peter Obi.
Yes, people are campaigning, are saying so many things. And you see, in politics, as you are making, pushing up something there, it causes a reaction. And you see, that sort of campaign, I hope people will look at both sides of the equation. The situation that we are today and the way people are campaigning, especially based on ethnicity, based on religion, it doesn't help anybody. What we want in this country is politics. What we want in this country is anybody who can come and bring the country together. The way we are operating now is not in anybody's interest. And people, especially politicians, are even worsening the situation. So my prayer and hope is that people will think positively. We are not campaigning based on religion.
All right.
I'm not campaigning based on my ethnic group or anything.
But again, it appears that what he just said a couple of minutes ago has been just on a 360 degrees. Here is a man who has clearly said that the North would rather vote for someone from the North, rather vote for someone from the Southeast. Again, he's now saying he's not campaigning on ethnicity. What was that for? What he said a couple of minutes ago, if that is not an ethnic call, I do not know what that is.
And anybody who is doing that, I can assure you, no matter how many of them in terms of religion or ethnicity, it will fail. And that's the situation on the ground.
So, your confidence now, maybe you can wrap up on the issue of your possibility of alliance, is your confidence is, should you have a Peter Obi on the ticket with you, on the ballot with you, you are likely to win the election. That's what
certainly the chances will go up because we have seen the Labour Party and the candidate himself, especially in the last few months, so many activities are taking place, especially in the social media you mentioned.
You think that the presence is not really on the ground, it's on social media?
Ordinarily, though some of us who are infantry on the ground, under normal circumstances, we are not worried about people up there. But the point is, a lot of sentiments are going on. And I'm personally worried, very much worried, even about the security of the country. When people are talking, are campaigning in places of worships and so on and so forth, it triggers a lot of reaction. And it creates a lot of problems. It divides the people rather than uniting them. I am in politics, not trying in any way to divide this country. What we want in this country is democracy based on realities on the ground, based on development, peace, stability, and progress of the country. Now, anytime we go back to our religions, our zones, our ethnicity, and so on, it creates a huge tension.
You mentioned the issue of security. You're a former Minister of Defense. You're from the northern region of the country. The Northwest, your region, is badly hit by banditry. And the thinking in some people's mind is the sitting president is from the Northwest, as yourself is a former military general. Do you feel Nigerians trust the confidence that comes from those who think and say that they can fix the security situation in the country? From the experience that we've had in the past, when you say you have a solution to it, how can people trust you?
You see, as we always say in NNPP, and I believe the people of this country, especially the voters, the masses, the telecows of this country, we all believe that PDP and APC have failed. I was there in the PDP. I was in the APC. I have seen the way they operate. Certainly, that's why we have the issues on the ground. Our military, our security agencies are people who are well trained, well capable enough to handle such issues. But unfortunately, over the time, we have a leadership that did not keep their eyes on what is happening in the country, not only in the area of security, in all other areas. And that's why we felt that if we continue like this, it's just one way to serious
But do
disaster.
you have a solution?
Yes, of course, the solution is there.
Now, I will conclude with the following words. I call on the Nigerian youths, men, women, young, old. Do you like what you see today in Nigeria? Insecurity everywhere, not even in churches that you are safe, not even in your mosque, not even in the marketplace. Today, what you used to buy for 100 naira, you'll be lucky to buy them for 5 or 700 naira today. Before, bag of rice was 18,000. Today, the minimum wage that you earn of 30,000 cannot even buy a bag of rice. If it is about competence by region, if in this case there are candidates that we know, politicians from the Southeast, that if they were in the ballot, I don't think that this conversation of competence would be the issue. It appears, as it is today, Nigeria has one of the best brains that we can boast of, internationally and locally. And it will be an aberration that we will see that which will unify all of us, north, east, south, west. And we will leave that on the altar of ethnic sentiment, because your dad, your mom is from certain region. Therefore, you now see someone who is going to help secure your future, secure the future of your children, you will then leave them because someone has told you that this person is from a region where they have minor crisis at this moment. Yet, the person telling you about the minor crisis in the Southeast comes from a region where you have mega crisis. If I go by his argument, then I can tell you that he's not qualified to run for the presidency. That no one should vote for him because let him go and fix the crisis in his state. I've shown us the data from StatiSense. In the first 4 months of 2022, the Q1 and first month of Q2, we have seen where over 1,600 people have been kidnapped in the north and about 100 plus in the south. Break it down, northwest is leading, and Rabiu Kwankwaso is from the northwest. Nigerians, is a cry and call for all of us to wake up, to do not, stay on the fence. We must act if you want to remain a peaceful nation of equity, fairness, where those principles are core issues that concerns you. Then the time for you and I to act is now. Join me in the next couple of minutes. I will be having an interview with Ike C. Ibe on the suit he had regarding rotational presidency with the PDP. Today, a court in Abuja had made a pronouncement. 6:30 Nigerian time. We'll be back. Thank you, and I am still Mazi Ezoke. Bye for now.